Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to start a new build out of an older truck. I just did a kind of comparison video recently with this truck and the older 44 pickup, which is the same truck, a few differences but the same thing. I picked up this one a while back, and I have two of them. I have one that's sealed, and I bought this one at the back last October in Charleston at the SCMA model show up there. Anyway, so I decided, I built this kit as a kid, right? And it has quite a few memories attached to it, you know, because it was a cool truck, and I just remember my dad was a 40 Ford guy, and you know, you want to please your dad, and it's like, I want to build this one, Daddy, because you know, I knew he liked 40 Fords, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna build this, but so here's something interesting. So I opened it up, which I opened it the other day when I did my little comparison video. There's the cab. Here's the front fenders, hood, and everything, sides, bed sides, and then I took out this bag and was checking it out. The chassis, the rear end. This does not have many parts. This kit is not like, typically some of your Monogram kits just didn't have a lot of pieces. 37 that I built recently, it just didn't have a lot of parts. And I saw this had 3 bags of parts. I'm like, well, this one's got more than I thought. And then I got to looking, and I said, well, dang, there's another set of seats. There's another chassis. So I don't know how this happened, but this kit has 2 whole bags that are sealed. They're not even open, of chassis, seats, inner door panels, wheels, and running boards. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if it was an accident from Monogram, or if it was, you know, they were putting the guy that was selling it had gone through and accidentally put a bag of parts in that didn't belong. But anyway, the body has some flash point, pretty substantial flash on some places, but that's okay. It almost, the body has this, do you see those waves? It almost looks like it was 3D printed. It's not. I'm not even, but you know how 3D printed stuff, I have like slices. It's just kind of odd. I think when this mold was made, it was made with CNC machines, and I don't know if you'll see that in the paint, if I'll have to sand that smooth, but you can see these waves. Anyway, but there's one neat thing that I'm going to do to this kit, okay? One thing. I have a part from my old kit that I built back in the 80s, and that's the tailgate. There it is. So the tailgate right here from my kit, originally built back in the 1980s. I actually built the kit that preceded this one. This was like 1991, I think, but I built it before that. But yeah, I'm going to use the tailgate off of my old build. I'm going to strip the paint off of it. It's got some pretty thick, heavy looking red paint, but I'm going to use the tailgate off of my old truck, and I'm going to incorporate it into this new build. And I think that'd be kind of neat to have something attached to it from my childhood. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get started on this thing, open some parts, get them glued together, get this body all really quick. This has opening doors, and I'd heard that it gave problems. I built it as a kid, didn't have no problem, but as a kid, some imperfections you could care less. But we'll see how this goes, and it's going to be neat. I don't know what color I'll paint it. Don't know if I'll paint it red or not, but I did paint mine red as a kid. I might have to go back red. Anyway, Alright guys, I'm about to get started, so just do me a favor and stand by. Alright, update is I have sinus issues from a bunch of pollen, and believe it or not, this is like a month after the first segment here. So I had other projects going on. This has kind of been like when I got time, I'll kind of mess with it. Well, you'd better have quite a bit of time on your hands, because this baby is, I don't remember it being this difficult as a kid. Maybe it's just because you don't care as much as a child. But this thing is really a pain in the butt. Just got that fender glued on the rear. So I'm going, I go from building that IMC, right? That IMC with multi-piece body. And you know what a headache it is? Well, I do now. And I jump on another multi-piece body, which is kind of funny. So issues that I'm having, number one issue is the body was the molds were so stinking worn out whenever this one was produced. There's so much flash, and the molding and things like that were just very vague, and I actually had to remove some of it. Another thing is that the hood, I had to really modify the firewall to get it to fit just right. This cab will actually still pop off. I just have it sitting in place, but I'm having a problem with my hood not wanting to, if it sits back all the way on the firewall, it wants to have a gap. So I believe whenever I put my frame under it, that the fenders actually will flex up a little bit. We'll take care of that. And I hadn't really done anything else. Honestly, this probably, I've got a couple hours tied up into just getting the bed went together easy. The fenders went right on. Lots of flash cleanup, and just getting this body and this firewall together. Boy, let me tell you what. The only really other progress is I got the block halves put together. But I've been, like I say, been busy on other projects. Obviously, when this video comes out, it won't be like you've waited a month between segments, but it's literally been like a month that it's been here on the bench, and I've just been toying around with it. But that's the progress right now. It's going to be cool. And I used my tailgate. My tailgate from my youngster years is on the back of it, so I thought that was a really cool little accent. There's the hood. Tailgate right there. If anybody needs a tailgate for a 40 Ford truck, let me know. But yeah, so it's coming along. I'm going to have to do some really acrobatics. I couldn't think of the word. When it comes, I'm going to attach this body, and then I'm going to have to try to paint the dash details and I think I am, and the floor plans. I don't know. I'm trying to do this the most easy way for me, as far as like, oh man, I don't know. I just don't know. I've got to get more progress done. I'll let you know here in, literally seconds after I hit, but it could be weeks. But anyway, all right, so that's where it's at, and it's going to be cool. Hey, when it's all said and done, it's going to be cool, and I'm going to be able to put it on the shelf, and it brings back memories for sure. I don't remember the pain in the neck, but I do remember building this kit, so just stand by. All right, so it's been a good week since the last segment, just a few seconds ago. This is my when I find the time project. So what I've done, I've tried to prefab these hinges are difficult, very difficult. I built this kit as a kid. Again, I just mentioned that in the last segment. I don't remember if I just glued the door shut. Probably did. This dude is a pain. So I've got this side sort of adjusted. I'll never be able to put these on. Anyway, I got one on this side. Got the body taped onto the chassis. Oh, well, there went that door. Okay, so the problem is the way these hinges mount. There's like nothing that you no reference point to kind of mount the hinges, and so you're kind of like guessing at it, and then you have to move the hinges and heat the hinges and everything else to try and get it right. I'm trying to get this door back on. And it's a real pain in the neck because you can't get them just right. Now it's wanting to bind. So what I'm going to do, I want to get the doors on it to be able to paint it. Or it's just a pain. Pain in my neck. I would say pain in my rear end, but it's not really. But what could be a pain in the rear end is some of these guys. So thank you to my mother-in-law for letting me hold her pin cushion, or I guess gave it to me. I don't know. This is an old one, looks like. Even got a little strawberry growing on it, or something, whatever this is. I needed I wanted some pins with the metal heads. They're kind of hard to find. Most of them have the plastic head on them. I see guys using those for gear shifts, but I want to try and make some little door, because these things pop off so easy with the little pins. I want to actually make a metal door pin, and try that. So thank you, Miss Linda, for those pins, and I'm going to try to get that. I'm going to try to drill the holes with my little pin vise and get the little thing through there, and then that little metal head will set right on top of where the hinge, or the on top of the hinge, and maybe it will work better. I don't know, but I'm going to do that, and we shall see. So I will pause the camera. Hopefully I'll get back to this today and not in a week from now. Stand by. Alright, so I successfully used those straight pins for door hinges. For door pins, rather, not hinges. So, what I did, you can see them right there. And they work great. Look at this. They work great. Here is the side with the... there's a darn mosquito in here eating me up. This is the one with the plastic hinges. This one I actually got the door to shut pretty decent. But if you bump it, see, it just comes right off. I'm going to do this side too. So, how I did it. I'm going to show you how I did it real quick. And just in case any of you guys are doing this. And so I took a full length pin. Just like so. And I'm going to swat this darn mosquito. So I took the full length straight pin. I lined my door up. I put the I cut the little tips off. So right here, right there, anyway, the little knobs, I cut it off so it would just be flat. Didn't want the knobs. I put the door in place, and I heated the straight pin with the heat gun, and did like I just went shoot right straight down and came back out, and same with the bottom. Then I cut the pins off really short, two of them about the length of that one right there, about that long, actually a little longer, because I wanted something to work with. And I pressed them down into the hinge, and it was just as loose and wobbly as could be. So what I did was, I'm trying to find something to point with here, because you still had your top, and it still would, the whole thing, especially this bottom one, it would really wobble, although it was the hole was the right size. I took and pulled the hinge up a little, and I put super glue under the head of it and pressed it down. So that way, this you have the top and bottom. The bottom one is the door, and the top one here is the actual hinge that's mounted into the frame, and it's opposite on the bottom, but that's okay. But anyway, when I pressed that down, I super glued it just so the pin doesn't wobble. It's mounted solid, and the same thing with this one, except this one is mounted solid to the door. But anyway, there's no wobble anymore in the hinges. I mean, they were really just, I was like, well, this ain't gonna work. But then once I super glued them down, and then I snipped off the ends with a pair of metal Klein electrical snips. I didn't want to ruin my Tamiya cutters. Don't try to cut anything with those, your parts cutters. Don't try to cut any metal with that. You'll ruin the blades. But anyway, all right, cool. So I'm gonna do the other side, and we'll see how it turns out. Stand by. All right, well, a success with the doors. So I got this one. It's a little bit snug as far as the hinges, but that's just because one of my pins didn't melt the hole quite big enough. But it will, I'm sure it will free up. But anyway, the doors are nice and tight. As far as the hinges go, there's no, you could pick this truck up by the door. Okay, so, and here's the other, well, I got it taped shut, but anyway. So another issue I've got to address is, and I've already mentioned this, and it'd be hard to do with the tape there, but the hood doesn't fit. It's like when you get the hood in the right spot, it doesn't line up on the fenders. But with this thing, you can, there's a little bit of play right there. There you go. In the and I think once I get it mated to the chassis, it seemed to me when I put it on the chassis that it did seem like it wanted to straighten up. But anyway, so all right, so I'm gonna end this video. It's gonna get too long. This truck has taken, so far, I've had this thing on my bench now for like, oh man, 2 months almost. And it's going, at first it was almost like I'm just going to put it back in the box and I'm not going to do it. But it actually, it's beginning to come around and beginning to be fun now that the doors are on there. That was like a huge hurdle. So, I don't know if I'm going to paint it red. That I'll paint it red. But it's a good looking truck. Brings back a lot of good memories of having this truck, and I can't wait to get it together. I do wish that it didn't have louvers. Like the original I'm looking up, I don't think it had louvers. But anyway, ugly louvers. That's surely a 1990s thing. Everything, you remember go to a car show, everything had louvers all on it, stamped in it. Whoever came out with the louver making machine was a wealthy guy back in the 90s. But not a stitch of paint on anything. I've now got to figure out how to mount. So the cab is loose from the chassis, or it will come off. I've got it taped on there so I could do this, get the doors and all mounted, because what happens is when you take it off, it shrinks in. It's got some little notches that the cab fits in, so I had to have it in there to fit my doors. But I've got to get the dashboard in there. Multi-piece body is a pain in the butt. Got to get the dash in. These inner door panels will go in after everything's painted. That'll be seat color as well as the seat, and I'll get that painted. The dash will be painted, obviously body color. But then I've got to get the windows mounted in this thing, and they go up from the underside. Man, is that a darn scratch on that sucker? Wow, how'd that happen? I have to buff that out. Anyway, I've got to get the windows in, and I've got to bare metal foil the window. As you can see here, the window has the chrome on it, not the body. Man, is that a gap? No, almost looks like he's got a gap. Not the best fit in the windows apparently, but anyway, got to get the windows in. It'll come together. It will come together. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscription button. Appreciate that. It really helps me out. If you've built this kit before, did you build it as a kid? How long ago did you build it? Did you have problems with the doors? That's what I want to know. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you've built this kit. Does it bring back memories? Is it one of those? This is one of the ones. It's this one. It's this truck. It's the Boot Hill Express and the Vicky right there. Those are the three that really, other than like the Bigfoot monster truck, which I have over to my left, but these just bring back so many memories to me. And I'm glad you guys are coming along on this ride. This ride has been almost 2 months, but really only about what, 10, 12, 15 minutes in this video. Anyway, I'm done. Thanks for watching, guys. Go to Hobby Nut Models, check out his inventory, grab some paint, grab some supplies, go to the Facebook group, join, grab a t-shirt from the Teespring store, or a sticker, or a coffee mug, and if you want to become a Patreon member, go see the Patreon page. Linked in the description are all these things. Thank you to my Patreons. You guys do not know how much that means for having your support, but I'm grateful for all of you guys, even if you don't. So guys, thanks a lot, and we will see you on the next one.